Channeling from the quantum downs. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Black goat elf, Dotta puppet too. Bearsnake by the ocean blue. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Kobolds and dream masters soar. Putting their rune on the door. It's Wizard Wednesday. Forevermore. Wizard Wednesday. Lore at the core. We are a cult with a world of our own. Never forgotten or magic is known. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Let's read from the book of lore. Legendary wizards at the core. Don't get lost in the quantum shadow. Abracadabra is our magical manifesto. Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Eat a donut, set your soul on fire. The sacred flame on a funeral pyre. The seventh gate with golden locks. The nightmare imp with a treat box. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday.
That's right. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's a special early edition of Wizard Wednesday. We have a huge show ahead of us. Today is July 10th, 2024. As always, it's a good day to join a cult. Channeling in from the Quantum Downs, this is Elf J Trul, the Black Goat of the Wood. And I've got some friends on stage with me. Who do I got?
Oh, Dotta, you're killing me.
Oh man, I got rugged right out of the gate. My internet. There's a big outage in Texas. It's me, Dotta.
And who else?
Yo, what's up? It's Bear. Yeah, I know. We're getting technical difficulties here. Hi, guys. What's going on? Super fun day. It's Bear. What's up? Happy to be here. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We also got Entropy, Matto, Jitsi, Tad. Say what's up, guys.
GM, everybody.
Hey, magic.
Hello.
What up, boys? And yeah, we're going to have some special guests on very soon. Bear, do you know where they're at? Are they having trouble signing in, or what's the deal? Bear.
Psych is right here. Psych's up with us. Yeah, so they're trickling in. What's up, Psych?
I think they just need more times to buy more wizards. That's all.
Yeah.
In a little bit.
Too busy sweeping floor to hop up and chat. Come on. All right. Well, while we're waiting for our guests to hop up here on stage, if I can ask everybody who's listening in right now, go ahead and hit repost on the space, drop a comment in there, help us boost and get into the algorithm a little bit, show some magical wizard love on the timeline.
Damn right. Yeah, and not only that, half of our show happens right in Discord. Our community is constantly making hilarious remarks and reactions to the show. It's also a place you can ask us questions if you don't want to come up on stage and ask. We try to get to all of them. Sometimes we miss them. And also this show, our Wizard Wednesday, is always uploaded to YouTube a few days later, so be sure to see all the back episodes there. Okay, I think we've got our guests up now. Is that right?
Yeah, we've got Psych out up here. What's up? Hey,
there he is.
There he is.
Oh, nice. I'm calling in from my laptop here. First time I'm using Spaces from my PC and not my phone. So hopefully everything is okay. I don't sound like I'm in a spaceship or something.
No, you sound good.
I'm good.
All right,
Yeah.
That's nice. Thank you guys for having me. Excited about this.
Yeah, happy to have you. And then who else do we have from your team?
I can see Jeff, Jiho lurking in the crowd. Kathleen is also here. I'm not sure if they want to.
Yeah, you guys are welcome to come up,
Come
everybody.
on up.
This is, you guys will find out, the Sky Mavis Ronan T, you'll find out it's very family casual in Wizard Wednesday. And so, you know, everybody's here to hear everything.
Nice.
Yep. Jiho, can you speak?
Yep.
Jiho on mute.
You know, it's the joining from the laptop is tricky. It's tricky. It's an advanced maneuver.
Well, I think let's kick it off. People can come up, come down, whatever. Let's kick it in.
Yeah, so actually, Bear, why don't you tell us like exactly what the big news is today? What's going on? Why is everybody so excited?
Oh gosh, I guess people found out that we are bringing the Forgotten Runeverse game MMO to Ronin. Hey, very exciting. I mean, geez, we'll get into it, but such a long time coming, and you know, I will just say, like, working with the whole Sky Mavis team and like getting to know a lot of the people in like the Ronin community has just been such a pleasure. And you know, super professionals, feel like we've just hit it off, and just very excited about bringing the game to Ronin. I think we'll get into all the details in a bit.
Yeah. The Runeverse game is coming to Ronin. I don't think I'm alone in saying the best Web3 gaming chain out there, and that's partly because they have the best team. So maybe we can get some intros to the Ronin team. Jiho, are you able to speak yet? Darn it. Damn. I wonder if we need to like kick some people off stage so that it's maybe not so crowded.
I don't think that's the issue. I don't think that's the issue. But I think that, yeah, I think I've been just so excited to be a part of Ronin for a long time. I think that like we both share a similar ethos in terms of being just very driven to do really great work in a space where a lot of people coast on vibes. And so like with Ronin, that's not the case at all, right? That they're extremely driven to be the best, extremely driven to have the best games on their platform, and extremely driven to like really fulfill the mission of crypto and crypto gaming, which is like having the like games that are really fun, that are based on crypto tokenomics that aren't possible any other way. So I'm just I'm really starstruck, honestly, with the Ronin team. I think, yeah. Jiho, is your mic on now? Let's see. We can try again.
Yeah, what up? Can you hear me?
There it
Hey, what's up?
is.
There he is. Okay, great. So we can start the conversation. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
Jiho,
mean, go ahead.
do you want to give an intro just about you and your team and Sky Mavis and all that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm Gio. I'm a co-founder of Sky Mavis. We're the creators of the Ronin chain. And yeah, Ronin is king of the gaming chains. Ronin is the #1 place to grow and build a Web3 game. And we're home to not just the first game to hit a Web3 game to hit 1 million DAU, which was Axie, but also the second, which is Pixels. So yeah, we have something amazing cooking here. We've done it. We've done it before, and yeah, we think that the Wizard Cult and the Runeverse team have what it takes to get to the next level. So yeah, we're really excited to welcome you guys to Ronin today. Yeah, this has been a long time coming. So finally, felt great to finally be able to pick up a Wizard. And yeah, I also felt the vibes and the strong welcome from the community.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's one of the things that I want to make sure everybody listening understands is just like you guys are really, in my mind, like the creators and founders of what's arguably like the most successful and greatest Web3 game ever, right? Axie. I mean, like you all have really been through the ringer in terms of managing a tokenomic game. You were at the forefront of that, having a huge amount of success, having tons of challenges, and then being able to like come out on the other side. Because there's plenty of projects who have maybe had some success in crypto, but they don't really make it through that great filter, right? You have this rocket ship up, tank down, and then there's this moment where you check out, like, is there something here? And you guys have been able to recover. And so I think like that's one of the things that I'm just so excited about with the Runeverse game, is that like as much as I've done tons with tokenomics, I think that like the being able to there's no book on how to manage a crypto economy that understands the details. All that knowledge really lives at the people who have done it, and you guys have done it better than anyone. And so I'm just so excited to collaborate with you guys and your teams in order to like make another great crypto game.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Syke.
Oh yeah. I guess I'll also do a quick introduction for those who don't know me. I'm also one of the co-founders. I'm the chairman also at Sky Mavis, creators of Axie and Ronin. And listen, I'm super excited to partner with you guys on this. I've followed Forgotten Runeverse for I don't know how many years, 3 years by now. I always wanted to find a way to work together, but a couple of years ago when we first announced Ronin, there wasn't really, we were only focused on Axie, and basically we made Ronin for Axie so that other teams would be able to join at a later date once we've ironed out some of the flaws that were there. And I think over time, what we wanted to share with different type of teams is, as Dotta was saying, like what are the things that we did with Axie that was very successful, and where are there room for improvements? And I think a part of what we really liked about Forgotten Runeverse is of course the IP. I think what you guys have made here is amazing, and also you guys have a lot of experience when it comes to building transmedia IP, and of course the community, which is very similar to what we have with Axie. So I also want to congratulate you guys for being accepted into Ronin as well, actually, because we have a very, very curated ecosystem. There aren't that many teams that we want to work with. So I guess this is hopefully a match made in heaven. That's what I think.
Damn right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like, we were talking about this in our team meeting earlier, which is like, it's very easy for people to get kind of like tribal against competitors, but I think that one of the things that you see instead that's more beneficial is a network effect of games. And so you see that with Ronin, when you have such a high threshold, like a high barrier of quality for the games that can be there, and the games that are there are active and fun, it's self-reinforcing, right? Instead of having this kind of spaghetti approach where you have all sorts of like crappy games and that nobody really plays, which is a lot of noise. When you have games that are quality, all kind of banding together, sending traffic to one another, collaborating with one another, giving airdrops to one another, it's really this virtuous cycle where everyone becomes more powerful. And so I think we're extremely proud to be a part of the Ronin network and really look up to a lot of the games that you guys already have there.
And then we have a Han Tao, part of the Sky Mavis team.
I don't know that he's part of the Sky Mavis team.
No, I'm not part of the Sky Mavis team. I'm just a community member.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I actually run Jiho's fan club. I'm the leader of Jiho fan club.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, nice to have you up here. I mean, I would love to hear kind of about like some of the things that you guys are looking for on Ronin. Like, what are some of the you have this filter for the games that you're looking to kind of bring on. I would love to hear more about like what you guys are aiming for with Ronin, but in a like specific way. What are some of the filters that you're using to consider games, and really what your ideal like outcome looks like in Ronin games?
So it's been a long process, I would say, to kind of narrow down the approach, and actually we learn a lot since we started this. I think since the beginning, the thesis has always been like we are looking for games that are able to bring in a mass audience into crypto. We believe that games are the best way to get adoption for crypto, because people learn about new tech through games. And then we started kind of narrowing it down. Does it mean that we need MMOs? Does it mean that we need PC type of games? We've never really been into the whole kind of AAA titles. We think that if games have a very, very long go-to-market without staying closely in touch with the community, it really doesn't make much sense for Web3. I think a lot of the learnings that we have with Axie is just how important it is to stay very close to the community and get feedback. And I think that's one thing that you guys are doing great. And that's also one of the reasons, one of the things that we filter for. And of course, it's game making ability. I think, but here is something that people are very focused on what makes a game fun. We focus on what makes games fun, but I would rather say that in Web3, it's a lot more about entertainment than just fun, right? To me, funness is such a word that people like to throw around, but I'm a competitive gamer. When I play games, it's for fun, but I think of it as entertainment. It's not like I'm always smiling whenever I'm playing a competitive game of Counter-Strike or Dota or Warcraft 3 or whatever. To me, it's I want to win. And I think those are some of the things that I look for particularly. But we have a very well, not a big team, but we have a very specialized team, so that we can kind of filter out very easily the people who are only here for the cash grabs, for example, and the teams that are only here for the short-term plays. It's not really attractive for us. And it's also about when we bring in a team to Ronin, we actually vouch for them to our community. We say that, okay, we've actually talked to these people. We spent a lot of time. We know that they can ship something. Of course, in Web3, there is no guarantee. There's a lot of teams that try something that fail. And we think that's actually okay too. They have to be experimental, which is another key thing that we filter for. Nothing great happens from going down the same path as everyone else. When we look at Axie, we tried something brand new. We separated experience points in the game. We turned them into smooth love potions and let the players, farm them and trade them from there. We created a fully open economy. Now, that didn't work as planned, like in the very, very long term, but we learned a lot when we did it. And on the way, we managed to get over 2.7 million daily active players at the top. We think that kind of attitude is massively important, and not being afraid to take some risks here and there. Because if you don't do that, you will never really succeed, in our opinion.
I love what you just said so much you wouldn't believe. You say Counter-Strike on there, so I completely agree with a lot of things you said. I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I think Web3 gaming is really just an entirely new thing. It's not traditional gaming, and it's not just a crypto product. It's a whole new third thing, and people there's always this debate online, which is like, okay, all you got to do is make the game fun, and then there's another cohort that's saying, no, all you have to do is just make it a profitable yield farming experience. But I listened to you, and I feel like you've cracked the code, which is, I really liked what you said about making it not just fun, but entertaining. And it sounds like you're really able to balance all these needs and features that the Web3 gaming audience is looking for. So, it sounds like you basically just spelled out the recipe for success of Web3 gaming.
I think at least that's what we're trying to, so for every game that we work with, we also learn a lot from the Sky Mavis. I guess you could call it the publishing angle. We think that we can give a lot of great advice when it comes to go-to-market, community building, but we're not the game makers. Like, that is something that we trust to the teams that we work with. But we want to make sure that they are not making the same mistakes that we did in particular. But we also have some tricks up our sleeves that probably is a good way to execute things. But it also depends heavily on the entrepreneurs that we work with, right? I think there's a lot of strong opinions in this space from people who haven't necessarily shipped games, and there's a lot of people who think they know how to succeed, but very few people have done it. So that's why whenever we talk to teams, we look for that special spark, people who have been in the market for a while, people who know how to deal with the crypto kind of the markets in particular, who know how to talk to the communities that they have, because when the prices go down, you live and die by the FUD in your Discord, and the people who have experienced that, they are few and far between. So that's also very important.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that we feel is so great about our community, is that, like, we built this project based on the idea that we're building a decentralized IP, and that there's an enjoyment in the characters themselves and in like the mission of building a sort of decentralized Lord of the Rings. And so, as we've seen over the past like 3 years, our community, of course, is not immune to the greater like swings in the marketplace, and so like farmers come and go and pump prices and dump prices, but like people who love the characters, who love the IP, and now like love the game, will stick around, even as like the market kind of ebbs and flows, and that's just so critically important.
I'm gonna do some shameless fishing for compliments right now. So as mentioned earlier, you guys mentioned you've got an awesome track record. We could talk on and on about why Axie is awesome. We could talk about why Pixels is awesome. I'm curious what you guys saw in Forgotten Runes and why you wanted to bring it into Ronin, because I know why we wanted to work with you, but I'm curious why what drew you to us. I'm fishing for compliments.
Yeah, I think I briefly mentioned it here, but I can go through it very specifically. I think we like first of all, we think the IP has a lot of potential, and as Dotta was saying, I think decentralized Lord of the Rings, sure, that does sound quite appealing to me as well. I love fantasy. I've read I don't know how many fantasy books. I'm actually reading one right now. But I mean, always love that part, and I think that the IP side is very important for sure when we think about the potential for Forgotten Universe in the long term. I think we are now in a unique moment in time in Web3 where people can bootstrap new IPs that will be that can potentially change the world. When we look at Axie, I see something that that has the potential to become the new Pokemon, right? That's the stated goal. That's always what we wanted to do, and I think that for Forgotten Universe, I can also see something equally as big, because I actually in my house right now, I received a care package from you guys, which is some of the comic books that you have, and I've been reading it, and I just think it's really great, and I think the care that you take when it comes to those details are just is massively important, and that's what I mean when I said also transmedia IP. I think Forgotten Universe has the appeal more than just a game, right? It's about making people fall in love with the world that you guys are trying to create, and that can come from many places, right? Some people just want to collect and hold the wizards. Some people really want to play the games and farm the tokens. Some people want to read the comic books, but it's the cohesiveness of it that binds it together that makes the sum greater than its parts, which is what was very attractive to us, and particularly I think me. And also, I think the way that the community has been managed. We do a lot of research when we talk to different teams. We check their discords. We talk to players. We talk to investors of the teams. We talk to holders of the wizards as well. And everyone was in consensus that this has been handled really well. And that is, as I said, like not something that so many people can say, especially when things have a tendency to get tough.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Oh, go ahead.
Do you guys have any interest in talking about? We were talking about Axie earlier, and you guys have been through ups and downs. Is there any interest in kind of addressing some of the challenges that you guys had with Axie and some of the ways that you fixed it, right? Like, I think that like one of the things that we're seeing in our community is, because I think Forgotten Runes is younger than Axie by a year, maybe two, and we've seen ups and downs too. And I would love to kind of hear some of the things that, like maybe some of the bigger moments where you had like a gut check between the two of you, and like some of the things that you did to address it and how you maybe came out of it. I don't know. Is that something that you'd be interested in talking about?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, there have been countless ups and downs, right? So Axie is now in its 6th year of continuous development, right? So Axie was started in 2018, basically right after, right? Like many of the co-founders, I met Alex playing CryptoKitties, right? So really, really back to the beginning of the NFT space. And there have been tons of challenges. There have been crises with the community. There have been moments where, you know, the servers were going down because of too much traffic, right? Sometimes like success can actually cause way more problems than you anticipated, right? You know, there's like scaling issues, right? Like Ronin was actually built specifically to deal with right, the volatility in gas prices that we're facing. Basically, right, that what you say you're going to do, that's important. That's also something that I noticed, right, that you've relentlessly built, you put forth a vision, and you've gone on, right, execute continuously, right, on what you laid out in the beginning. There have been, right, it's been a rocky road, right? Like we've had right, dizzying success, skyrocketed up to 2.8 million. Very primitive product, right? Actually had been under 3 years, but a lot of that time we were building infrastructure, right? We were creating new models, right? Like the game that went super viral in 2021, that was actually a very primitive product. It didn't have all of the features that we actually thought would be necessary to get to that level of success, right? We thought that, you know, upgrading axes and having a ton of token sinks would be really important to even be able to get to that level, right? But we were actually able to grow exponentially, and right, we did have some issues and complications with the economy because we blew up even before we had expected, right? But I think all of that served to create culture, right? It's like all those memories, the ups and downs. Um, those are things that you go through with your community, and those kind of experiences help create a really strong relationship between the developers and the players. So.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And you totally, you know, we talk about this idea of like being Lindy, which is this idea that the longer that something survives, the more likely it is to survive in the future. And I think that like those pressure cooker moments where you have a team and a community who get like either through like mistakes or success or just dynamics of the market, just squeezed, but then you come out through the other side. That just It's like one more brick in the building to last for a super long time.
That's what that's what we see with the Ethereum community, right? Like there's different schools of thought around even like the DAO hack. So I have a thesis that the DAO hack was actually the thing that allowed Ethereum to be successful, right? Because it set a precedent that the Ethereum community would be flexible to crises, right, and would be willing to upgrade the chain, in different circumstances, right, and then kind of got a lot of the toxic people out of the community, and they joined, right, Ethereum Classic, right. So this is an example of, right, how sometimes something that seems like a crisis or seems really bad in the short term is actually the thing that you need to get to the next level. So I think that's how we look at all the crises and the bumps in the road that we've experienced over the years.
Yeah, I just want to add a little. I mean, the way that me and Jeff, we lived together in the same apartment, I would say, in Vietnam for several years at the beginning, and I think the bond that the founders have, it goes down into the community as well, and I think that if we are very closely connected and we stay true to the vision that we have, and as Jeff was saying, like we try to do everything that we say we should do, then that ethically is also what the community likes. I mean, it's really hard actually, because sometimes you end up making promises to you sacrifice the future to make sure that people are more happy in the moment, right? You sometimes you say something like, oh yeah, we're going to be building this, we're going to be building that, and I think over time we really learn to be very, very careful with that, because it always bit us in the ass. But kind of balancing that out with making sure that there is some excitement there is very, very important. I remember many not sleepless nights, but pretty close to it, where we had like massive arguments with the community about like disagreements. There have been riots, even 2 riots of breakout parts of the community was angry about some things that we did, but it kind of solidified the community, and and even us, right, hardened us so that we are now more resilient moving forward. And I think all of those hard things that we did, they set us up to face the hardest challenge of them all. When we got hacked for 600 million from North Korea, right? I think that was a rough period of time. And I know we're still here. Speaking of Lindy, like, I don't see that many companies surviving something like that and still being here and paying back all the users, making sure that they're whole, right? And I think that should prove just how much we care about community, because we took from our own balance sheet. There was no legal agreements in place to make sure that we were repaying the community, but we did it. We had raised money from VCs, but we took that money and we refunded it to the players. So I think those are the type of founders that we look for, founder fit, who will go, will try their best, and make sure that they survive through thick and thin in this community and in this industry. Because as much as I'd like to say that we have the recipe for success in Web3, we might be the closest team to find the recipe, but right now there really isn't any clear recipe to product market fit. The pie is still there for the taking, right? And I think once we really start seeing more successful games, they're going to be massive global hits, right? That's really what I believe in, because we're on the frontier. And basically going back to what I said from the beginning, like creating jobs, for example, inside the games, even though game developers don't really like to talk about it, like that's what happens when you have a digital economy that is open, that is free. People find specialized things to do. That's what they did in Axie with breeding, with different, but the meta game of Axie wasn't strong enough to handle all the demand. That's why you need a MMO with different type of things that people can do, and jobs that are being created, other people that find things to do inside the game. I think that's incredibly critical. So I'm so excited about the next couple of years in blockchain, and I think that we're just on the precipice of something amazing happening. So I have very high hopes for Forgotten Runeverse in this case.
Yeah, that's so insightful, man. I think, one thing I wanted to touch on is that, for us, I think both of our companies hold ourselves to a high standard, but at the end of the day, you can make something, right? But people need to see what you made. Some of the greatest creations sometimes never sort of see the light of day. And so I think for us, the real goal here, which I think totally aligns with you guys, is like, it's big. One, it's big. It's all bigger than us. We're just a part of it, and we can help incrementally push the space forward. I think that's a win in our minds. But also, how do we turn this into a real? We're running real businesses, but how do we bring this to tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people? Because, like you said, the pie chart hasn't even really been touched yet. And there's just so much opportunity. And so for us, when we build something, we think it's going to be the best, or at least respected and looked at as one of the best, right? And so our game is like a critical piece in franchising our business, along with the television show, along with the comic book series and board games and stuff. But the game is I would say the biggest billboard to date as a case study, proof point for growing the brand. And I think that's why we chose you guys, because you guys have just proven that it's just really hard. And there's a lot of other great teams out there, but it's really hard at this point in time to find people who have gone through that path and learned and gotten smarter and better and just sort of battle tested. And I think we look at the game's going to roll out. It's connected to the comic book. One of the fun things that we get to do is, we have a comic book. Okay, great. That's globally distributed in all comic book stores across the world. But how do we use that to further something else we're doing, and putting comic codes on the back of the comics for people who buy the comic to get free in-game items? These are the really fun things that you get to start doing once all the pieces are on the chessboard. And I'm really just looking forward to, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm looking forward to the game helping us sort of get to that next phase, because you need these big things, and 3 years in the making. So excited.
Yeah. I think one thing Bear's touching on is just your abilities in distribution, and how you've already got a massive community following in your ecosystem. I think something really funny that we all woke up to this morning was our Discord giving us a warning that we were being raided. But it wasn't a raid; it was just all of your community coming in and asking questions, and it was awesome. You guys have a really strong, passionate community, and I'm so excited to bring them all into our Discord. Our Discord has just been popping all morning.
And they feel
So
super genuine. Like there's a similar sort of vibe and tone, I think, to everybody, which has been nice. That doesn't always happen, as we all know.
It's actually a part
I think
of
one of
it.
the fun
I would
things,
say.
right, leading up to this was basically, right, there were certain detectives, right, Agosho, Kagion, right, who basically had it kind of sussed out what was happening, right? And we gave like a very pretty vague tweet, right? We said that something magical is coming to, the Ronin ecosystem, and basically last week and on Friday. So, the community is just like super hype. I think they were all. Excited, right? They want an MMO. They want super strong IPs. They want collections, right? That also have like these deep histories on the Ethereum network as well, or EVM chains, right? So, I think you're checking a lot of the boxes in terms of like the community's wish list, right? So, yeah, I think I was like impressed that the detectives were able to jump on it so quickly.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of communities, there's someone who's been a big supporter of you guys, Axie and Sky Mavis for a long time, and then someone who's been one of the biggest voices and supporters of Wizards is Bill Gaines. And so I know Bill Gaines is up here. Maybe Bill, if you wanted to say something, I think today you were pretty happy, and hopefully we put a smile on your face.
Oh yeah. What's up, Jiho? What's up, Psych Out? You guys are some of my favorite people in the space. Really excited that my two favorite communities get to come together. My DMs were flooded this morning with all sorts of people from Ronin, like
I
asking
think
me,
Bill
like, could you...
used to like manage our Discord, or sorry, our Telegram, right?
No, the Telegram has been shut down for quite some time. But yeah, I did that during the height of the Axie experience. It was a fun time. But yeah, I'm so excited to just have the two communities come together. I'm feeling really stoked that all the morons are coming here, and we even have a moron global community that has nothing to do with Ronin. So maybe we can get some of the weirdest Roners in there. But yeah, just really stoked on everything. I think that there's a lot of people from that Ronin community who reached out wanting to do some Forgotten Runes related collabs. So really happy.
Bill, what do you think is like the number one similarity between these two communities?
Well, I think that both communities have really passionate artists and gamers, and like that was the art was the number one thing that brought me to Forgotten Runes. And it was also like one of the things that we did with our Axie program is we tried to recruit artists into our guild and also help them make a name for themselves. And that's where Shadow came from. Shadow came from an art contest that I hosted, and here he is 3 years later, three years with me. He's making art for the cult pretty regularly. So it's that's probably the biggest overlap is just the artists and the gamers.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's I would say that's like 98% of our community, artists and gamers. So that's perfect.
Yeah, Bill, you've been one of the biggest proponents for us to join Ronin for like years, like probably since the very, very beginning. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I believe in Ronin, and I believe in the people behind it, and I believe in the community. That's it. Like they got the secret sauce. Y'all got the secret sauce too. You're just like the smaller version of Sky Mavis, just Just maybe back when they had like 2,000 daily active users and there wasn't a whole lot going on. I'm honestly like I'm both excited and a little bit scared to see how quickly things grow from here. It's been kind of a sleepy bear market cycle, and just really excited to have more people here creating, making things, and like participating. I think there's a lot of people who are in the Ronin community who will want to make lore and who will want to make art and who will want to be a bigger part of the cult than just the games.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of it being sleepy, you know, it just feels like, at least for me, the timeline is kind of, it's not like bullish, it's not bearish, it's just kind of, people are just they don't have much to talk about, and so I feel like I'm excited to get the game out over the next like month or so, because I think people want to start playing things. I think people want things to do. They want to be entertained. They want to have fun. And you know, I think that's what good games are doing, right? And you know, obviously Sky Mavis is doing that across Ronin with the other partner games, but and we're seeing such success. I think people are just looking. People got smarter, and a lot of people got flushed out, and now people who are here want the thing. They want the product market fit, and I'm excited to be a part of that. It's gonna be really fun the next couple months.
So speaking of the game, right? Like I've heard rave reviews. I've like watched people play, actually over their shoulder a bit. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were testing it out. I've heard like amazing reviews from some of our investors, community members. Yeah. So what should we be expecting, right? I guess what should the community be expecting moving into this? I guess the closed beta test, right? That's rolling out relatively soon.
I can touch on that a little bit, and then Matto or
Matto's up here too. Yeah.
Yeah, Matto, you can color in. I think what to expect, like specifically. July 31st, there will be a closed beta test. It'll run for 3 days until August 2nd. And really, this is like not all the content for the public build, which comes after, will be ready. This really is about testing servers. It's about finding bugs and making sure that the game is in tip-top shape to sort of get out there publicly. And so then a couple of weeks later in August, we're not giving a date just because we don't want to give a date and then have to move it. But right now it's planned for August. The public gameplay event will be, and what's cool, and Matt, maybe you can sort of touch on this and give some detail. But we were originally planning to have two separate builds to that ran one after the other, and I think given the sort of the timeline with how the deal and announcing and all that stuff and just development, made sense to combine them. So the next build, I think, I'm so excited because a lot of stuff is even just new to us, in terms of like just getting to play with things. And Matt, it would be awesome to sort of talk about all the new sort of loops and the depth.
Yeah. So as Bear alluded to earlier, we had our initial plan was to have a Q1 build, and then we had this great deal of Ronin, so we decided development for Q2 build still continued as we progressed on with getting everything set up for the Ronin chain and having everything streamlined for it, so making sure all of our social stuff go to it. And in that time, because we were worried, because we were making the Q2 build while making Q1 build was already made. Now it's time that we're launching on Ronin, and we were like, hey, we can combine these two builds. So we have Q1 build, and it has not everything that was planned in the Q2 build, but a large chunk of it was in that Q2 build that was planned there. So it's going to have dungeons, and it's also going to have the ability to build on plots of land, and the ability to also decorate your interiors that you build on your plots of land too. So it gives you a nice, before the Q1 build, the build that we had for last year in November was mostly focused on just getting like the combat and the gathering gameplay loops, and we didn't see any of the dungeons, and we didn't see any of the plot management. So this time around, we give you plot management and we give you dungeons to play around with too. The dungeons are going to be great because it's going to kind of force you to party up with your friends to take them out. The dungeons are very, very strong. We know a lot of people in the last year's build, me included, focused on trying to make builds that like it was like a challenge trying to make builds that connect solo bosses with. And I think with the dungeons, it's going to be a lot more fun to be with party members and taking on these bosses with the combinations of which is going to be new skills in there as well to play with. So combos of like the skills that you put together for party members to take on those strong bosses, and in general, I feel like this build that's coming up, there's going to be, if you played last year, you're going to be very excited for everything that's coming in this one.
Matto, my favorite thing from the last, I guess, build we did was battling and then teaming up with fellow cult members to do battles. And one tricky thing though was the in-game communication modules. They were good, but they weren't perfect. But I think we've improved on that for this next build. Is that right?
100%. Yeah. So we took a lot of feedback from the last build, and one of the major things that stuck out was we felt it too. Like communication felt like it was a bit harder. So there's actually a global chat now, or not a global chat. Sorry, there's like a map chat that you can talk for everybody in mapping now. Later we'll be adding like party chat and stuff. But right now this build has like just a map chat, but. With that, you're able to communicate with your party members in map without having to like alt tab into Discord and stuff. Obviously, that option is still available if you wish, but you have the ability to talk to anybody who's on the map with you. If there's somebody who you're collecting materials with or whatever, and you want to like tell them, hey, you want to party up for the boss, you can do it right in game, right there, without having to tap into Discord and ask who's in the map with you right now. So that's really
and for
exciting.
new folks who haven't really like played the game either, I think that like at a high level, really, the game is an MMORPG, and there's, one way of classifying is there's basically 3 loops. There's like owning things and like crafting there. There's like exploring, and then there's the combat loop. So the combat loop, right, is you're going to go off to different areas and different levels and encounter enemies and dungeons, and when you defeat the enemies, you earn resources and rewards, and you'll use and materials, right? And then you can go back and use those materials to craft weapons, to craft materials for your house, to craft items that then you can use in the game, and all of this. Not only will like you turn sort of your items into NFTs, you can also like own plots of land. An important thing about the land in this game is all of the plots are hand placed. So just not a criticism, but a design difference from, let's say, like Other Side, right? If you've seen Other Side, they use kind of like the island model where the plots are just sort of like placed as like islands within kind of like a big grid where all of the land is sort of player owned in kind of the models they've released. Whereas with the Forgotten Runeverse game, each plot has been hand placed within the map of the Runeverse in this super massive world. And so you can basically, the plots are differentiated by location, right? You can say, oh, I want to have a beachfront property, or I want something, at Dream Master Lake or in the Fae or whatever. And then you can build on your property. When you build on your property, you'll also be able to build infrastructure there, and owners of that land get a percentage of the resources that are harvested from that land. So there's a very, very rich economy there, both with the land, with the battles, with the items, that like is just a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
And I also want to say you do not need to own a wizard or any of our character NFTs to play the game. But you will look cooler if you do own one.
Yeah, we want to try to make the game like MMORPG. Being an MMORPG, it's more fun with more players, right? So just making it so that you have that lower barrier of entry. Anybody can come in. You don't even need to have a wallet to join in. You can literally just join in with just an email and you sign up, create an account. You can worry about that stuff later. So if you want to invite your friends to come play and they haven't touched crypto, you have no clue what's going on, that's fine. You can show them the ropes later, but just you already know how to sign up with an email and password, create your account, and they can jump right into the game with you and start playing, right? We wanted to make sure that the Web3 integration portion of it should be an extension to what's an already fun game, rather than as for our philosophy, rather than what's a requirement for even enjoying the game in the first place. So, and we're very confident in the gameplay loops that we have, and very confident in just making sure that the game feels like it is complete on its own without having to do like the extra, and it will feel like a natural progression for players who aren't interested in Web3, right? Like we feel as if as they get deeper into the gameplay, they'll feel like they're missing out by not having it, but not as if they're like crippled by not having it, right? Like they're just missing out on experiences that make their gameplay a lot better by having so. And so balancing that out, I think we have a really good concept for how we balance out these gameplay loops to make it so that it feels as if you want to be invited into that Web3 portion of, rather than you're forced to be playing that Web3 portion of. So
I have a question. So for our players, right, that you know, aren't familiar with you know, the previous playtests, how would you guys describe the combat system, right? So like my understanding, right, is kind of like it's like turn based, right? Or it's kind of like Final Fantasy
Jitsi,
esque, or how should we think about it?
Jitsi,
Yeah.
Jitsi, you should answer that question.
Yeah, it's turn-based, but also it's like in real time, right? So there's an action bar at the bottom, and this like opens up the.
there?
Can no one hear me? People hear me?
I can hear you.
I think Dotta can't. So it just opens up the option, which I think is like one of the most impressive things, is like dynamic gameplay when it comes to team play, right? So when you talk about timing, you know, like how do you have timing within a turn-based gameplay? Well, you have to add an element of timing onto it, which is like with the action bar. So you get into this really interesting world where you can see you have 3 or 4 players or wherever it is within your party, and how you have to hit certain synergies and be able to make combos go off. But like to do that it's an easy idea, but not easy to like execute, right? That requires teamwork, timing, and everything else. So like really opening up the doors to like turn-based play, but give it a little bit of skill, right? And like I'm a big believer in that skill-based anything in this space, kind of like where it's kind of going. Time, energy, and skill should be rewarded, full stop. So it really opens up the doors to be able to implement that in future builds. It's kind of a rat with it, right? So it's like this new take on, well, I shouldn't say new. Other games have done it before, but turn-based, but in real time.
Yeah, and adding.
I have another question as well. And it's actually related to too much activity. What happens with like if there's too many players, or in terms of server capacity, and how are you guys related to that also? How are you guys thinking about bots in the game? Because we get a lot of questions about that on the Ronin side.
I mean, yeah, I think that like it's something that we'll take as we go. I think I don't know. I don't really have like a deep answer other than it's just something that I think that we'll work to make sure.
That's actually probably the right answer, because I don't think anyone has the answer to it. And it's mostly because you have to observe the behaviors, right, of the players and take rapid action, or the bots in this case. But you know, let's be honest here. It's a constant game of hide and seek, I would say, where you try to find out the people who are abusing the systems, abusing the monetary system in particularly. So I mean, I'm excited to see how this will work out.
My history,
it's about being prepared.
Is actually, you know, before we started Forgotten Runes, writing bots is actually my area of expertise. Not for games, but for crypto in general. And so, but I think that writing, I don't know, let's say white hat bots is one of the most fun things that you can do. So we're very well like prepared to be able to kind of tackle that problem, because I think that like you sort of have to be able to think like someone who creates bots if you're going to think about how to defeat them. So yeah, but we'll have to take it as we go.
I have a confession actually from back in 2020, 2021, when we hit product market fit with Axie for a period of time, and you know, it was growing like crazy. And I think we had about 20, 30 people at the time, and we didn't really have that many systems to start tracking bots. And I remember I was doing like Discord management, and I was trying to like threatening people. It's like, yeah, if you like, I was basically saying that we were tracking all of the details. You know, of course we couldn't track it because we didn't even have capacity to track anything, because we were trying to keep the servers up. It was like it was pretty like a shit show, because we could see that people were trying to abuse what was happening, but we weren't able to necessarily find out everything. But you know, of course, as time went by, we were starting to learn more about those kind of behaviors. But I think the moral of the story is you have to use everything you can to fight against these guys, because they're out to, you know, bot and to extract as much value as they can from the system. But you know, any worthwhile game will get botted, right? I think that has to be the assumption. and we have to work from there to see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody can write a bot that extracts like 1 penny per hour, and you like leave that unchecked, then all of a sudden you're gonna have like a million of those bots like extracting as many pennies as they can. So you have to keep a tight thumb on that for sure, especially in a crypto game.
But I think that's what's great is just like being prepared, like you guys are saying. Like the fact that you have that background, Dota, and Rune has the experience. Like as long as we're looking out for it, we'll be able to identify. I think you get when you're blinded and you're not looking, and it comes the other way is when you get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's something that we can share with you in terms of particularly data patterns that we've seen where there are a lot of farms in certain areas. So I think those are some of the knowledge sharing that we think is important.
Yeah, I also think that crypto gives you unique opportunities for combating bots because you do have a system that's built for like adversarial situations. And so, for the best example would be like economic incentives, and that you're able to kind of like design systems where people have either funds at stake or funds pledged that can actually provide like an economic deterrent towards bots. But still, regardless, yeah, to make a fun game, you need to be able to like keep an eye on it. So yeah, eager to work with you to be better at that.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to follow as well, and that's something that we get asked about a lot because people try to criticize Ronin for having some bots, but I think, as I said, like there's always going to be bots where there is economic activity and where there is some value to be extracted.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, the most successful game is going to have bots because it's the best game.
Okay, let's bring the bots in. Well, I think we're almost at the hour. I think it'd be a good time to just maybe transition into like, well, we've got a lot of new people in our Discord, and maybe just talk about Forgotten Runes in general, and just sort of bridge over to like what our project is about and how the game is just a major part of that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Good.
Sure. Okay.
I might have to peace out. It's actually 9 p.m. I have some been working all
For
day.
sure.
But,
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for being
So
here.
much.
Yeah.
I do want
Yeah.
to say, thank you guys for having me. It's been great. I'm super excited. Maybe I'll join also, even though this is a little bit strange time zone for me. But I guess we have to take a picture when I see you guys in real life too, and hopefully I'll be able to attend some kind of Runeverse meetup or meet some of the other community members you guys also have at a later date. So thank you guys, and excited
Thank you
about
for
this.
coming. Yeah, looking forward to working together. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jiho. Thank you, Syke.
Yeah, I also need to leave, but yeah, huge shout out, guys. I think the environment, the energy in the community is super electric. I've always wanted to be part of a cult. Now I can say that I am. I picked up a wizard. I picked up a ring. What is it? The rings of power.
The Watcher's Ring. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of the Watcher's rings. Hopefully, this isn't my Isildur arc. But yeah, yeah, it's been amazing. This is just the first step. I'm super excited for the playtest. I'm gonna be grinding that, and hopefully, I'm at home when it happens, which I should be. So it's good timing. So I'll be out there grinding. It seems like it's my type of game. So. Much love, like welcome to the Ronin Network, the king of the gaming chains. And yeah, we're gonna be hanging out a lot, so I'll see you guys.
Hey,
Let's go. Stay magic, G-Hub.
Yeah,
See you,
stay
Syke.
magic.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay. Before we pivot to Forgotten Runes, I think we had a few people come up. Let's see. Just raise your hand if you want to talk. We got KG and we got Adam H. Whoever wants to.
Hollander.
What's up?
Yo,
What up, buddy?
what's going on, you shadow hat?
I always forget about these on Wednesdays, and then somebody just tagged me. I appreciate that. Reminded me to